Okay, so I'm here with Mr. Tiarnan Loughran, who's going to be making his professional debut Saturday week at Caged Conflict. He finished his amateur career. Believe it was on a 4-fight win streak, 2 finishes, winning and defending belts, which doesn't really happen at amateur. And this is it's not long awaited because it came around pretty quickly. So I'm happy it did for you. How are you? How are you feeling going into the professional debut? How have things changed, or is it just more of the same with training, etc.?
It's all the same. I would honestly say nothing's changed. The only thing that's changed is I'm eating a bit more. I'm not going home and I haven't had to think 1 second about a weight cut. It's been well enjoyable, to be honest. I've felt so much more like fueled from my training. Um and that was really the thing I said, because I thought, fuck me, I made featherweight. I actually made championship weight last year. Was it 5 times? It was 5 times. Which is, it's actually like I'm not the biggest fella, I'm not small, so it was wild tough, but no, I'm feeling good, feeling strong.
And then you're going into this one, and your opponent has 1-1 record, so he's got professional experience going into it. Do you think that's going to benefit him, or do you think it doesn't matter? You've done you've covered all your bases. You're going in, obviously training with all the guys in FAI. You're more than ready for someone who's 1-1.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready for Andrea Flamino. I'm telling you, I actually watched one of those fights 1-on-1, but he was wearing, and it's 1-on-1 was a pro eye, but he was wearing shin guards. So I don't shin guards and a headgear. So whether it was fucking pro, I'm not sure. Um, there's not much on him. I have found everything I can, as I always do. Like I've seen him holding pads more than he's hitting pads. He seems to be more of a coach. But no, I'm not. I'm not worried about the thing. Professional experience. I don't see it as. I would say I'm much more experienced, to be honest. And as far as stepping up to pro, I it was honestly, it felt weird for me. I was always concerned about stepping back to threes. I was like, threes is a sprint, so that's different. I'm scoring 5 minute rounds from 18. As soon as I was in Cowbon. We only done fives. We never done threes. Fight Academy, we only do fives. So it's no difference to me. It's probably far better. It'll be far better for me.
Yeah, because like that, the lead that people might not think that extra 2 minutes in a round is a lot. Like if you ever thought of going full pet to something for 2 minutes, it's exhausting. So you can only imagine if you're doing that in training, that's going to benefit you. How did you feel with how you finished your amateur career? Because I remember we spoke at one stage. You went through the stage of where you lost. There was the draw, and then you were kind of in your own head, but then you kind of got back on the horse and then kept going. How did it feel to finish your amateur career the way you did? Because you did defend the belts as well as win them, which is unusual. People usually win them and go pro, but you took them. It was like you took pride in at least defending them once before you moved on.
I was never in a rush. Like, I always looked. I'm only 22. I'm only 22 years old, and I look at these boys who are at the top of the sport, and like, there's literally, although Taporia this weekend, he's an exception, phenomenal athlete and all, but like, you very rarely get these boys at the top of the sport at say 26, 27. So it's like I was always, I don't know, just patient with my time, like trying to learn as much as an amateur as I can. But I feel like I'm going at the exact right point. Like, I don't think I could do another amateur fight. I just don't think I could get myself up for it. Like, even that last one. Like, it was not on a mark, but like there was that wee bit of like, I've been here. Like, just the three threes. It just didn't. Not that I wasn't up for it. I was very up for it. But no, I'm ready. I'm definitely ready to go pro now. 100%.
Yeah, so it just felt like coming up to that fight, after that fight, it was time to move on to professional. And then obviously you've got Liam, you've got Pat, you've got Adam, you've got all the other guys there. Did you say it to them, or was it kind of a mutual thing? Everybody knew it was time to go pro, because from watching you, not just myself, Andy Stevenson, I know the lads are energized because I've watched a lot of their content as well. All of us would kind of in the same thing. Like, I think it's time for Tiernan to go pro. It's your improvements in the last 4 fights were just phenomenal.
Yeah. It was like, I don't know. You could even see me after the soup fight. I didn't even I didn't even really celebrate. It just didn't really. Not that it didn't do anything for me, but it was just like, it's like, I right now it's time, because I've it. I don't know. It was more like a mutual agreement. It's like even I think even heard the commentator say it. It was whoever was on the thing that day. They said I think it's time for Tiernan to go pro. Um, but no, it was kind of just like a mutual agreement.
And then when you get the pro fight, because you see sometimes when someone like yourself comes from amateur to pro, really good background, really good amateur career, it's hard to get fights. Your fight didn't seem to be that hard to come across, like Georgie Groza, who was fighting on Cage Legs. He took him 7 months to get a fight. Your ones have to come around quite quickly. How excited are you to get it off and kicking, like off the back of your amateur career rather than a long wait?
I'm excited to get paid. I swear to God, I have been waiting a long time for this moment. You see them 5 fights last year. See these amateur fights. You lose a fucking fortune. You lose a fortune. You see the fight camp, and then you go there and you don't get paid. Although I don't know, like I don't even know how much. Like I don't even know what money it'll be. Like I'm not sure, but like even to have that in now, like you're starting to. It's more like a profession now in a way. I'm excited for that part, uh, and then excited just for all of it, like small gloves and everything. I can start looking at these pros and I can start to like picture myself against them. Like you can look at the Cage Warriors scene and be like, oh, well, I'm there now. Like I'm not a million miles away from them boys. You can even look at boys in the UFC and you can be like, well, I'm also a professional featherweight, so fucking start looking at these guys, start seeing where you're at compared to them. Although we're a long way off that. I'm not I'm not there yet. But it's no, it's a good place to be now.
Yeah, it's good though that once you're in the profession, like I said, you're going to be getting paid, which will help towards your camps. I don't know what the fee is now myself, but but it's something towards the camps. But it's good that you're looking, like you said, you kind of started off there, Cage Warrior. So once you have your 1 or 2 fights, you're going to be eyeing up those Cage Warrior boys. And obviously, there's the relationship with FAI and Cage Warriors. And if you do quite well in your first 1 or 2, you could be in there and then not just eyeing them up, you could be fighting them then in by the end of the year is a
I'm
possibility.
I'm telling you right now, I swear I'm telling you right now, I don't fear one. Paul isn't a featherweight. Paul Hughes is now Cage Warriors lightweight. So I'm not sure what's next, but he's fighting at lightweight. So that Cage Warriors featherweight division, I don't fear one of them. Not one of them. I'm not saying I want to go there yet, but as far as being in competition with those guys, fucking Luke Riley, the number 3 guy in Cage Warriors, I have no doubt. I think I'd run through Luke Riley in a round. All them guys, any of those fighters in Cage Wars, I would be 100% confident up against them now. 100%. Wouldn't
It's
fear anything.
it's good to have that confidence. And you had such like when you're fighting amateur, and especially over in Ireland, I know, especially because I'm on the scene a lot. Like the guys you're fighting are good guys, Stanka, Mareks, the guys that you fought. Like it's not like in other scenes where people kind of pad their records coming up. You've had no easy fights. You took the Max Lally fight when no one wanted it, and that was a close fight. That was probably one of my favorite fights in a long time. Like
Yeah.
you have that behind you. But talk about obviously you talked about getting paid. How hard? Because you train like a professional, and you always have from amateur. Talk to people who might not understand how hard it is and how much money it takes. Obviously, you don't have to go into figures, but like what do you sacrifice to be a fighter?
I swear, I don't know. I think somebody like we wrestled last night. I had a wild hard week. Maybe too hard. Maybe I pushed it too hard this week. I think 4 or 5 boys maybe starting to taper it down. But we wrestled last night, and I literally was going into the session, and I was just completely fucked. Like I don't know, maybe other people, maybe they would handle it all right, but it's a it's a hard life. But it has to be that way. Like it's like I imagine Volkanovski, the fucking like for this camp, I would imagine the places that man has drove himself to would be disgusting. So like yeah, you have to be doing it, but it's no, it's no easy way to make a living. Like you think it's one night making a wee bit of money, but it's fucking it's a tough old career choice now. But I love it.
It is. I see it obviously from a different view than people who just watch it. And I'm not saying I'm that involved in sport, but I see because I would talk to you coming up house camp, whatever. Like your camp starts maybe 10 to 12 weeks out. And before that as well, you've had years and years of training, injuries. missing family functions, not being able to go out with your friends and enjoy yourself. Like, it's a very disciplined life, and only certain people can do it. So fair play to you, because like that, like you said, once you get to a certain stage, obviously the pay's not going to be great as you start, and everyone looks at Conor McGregor and John Jones and these people, and like, the money is never that much money. That only comes for certain people. Like, it's not like, it is a tough profession to see out, but then you also have coaching after it and stuff like that. But that's a long way away for you. After this fight, obviously you're not looking through your opponent. Like you said, you look for a lot of stuff on him online. When it's harder to find stuff online, like, are you looking? It's harder to prepare for then, I would presume.
I actually, so I've seen wee videos. I've got as much as I can. I've watched the fights that he's had. I've took up wee, I've put up a few wee things now. But don't get me wrong. I've watched a few. I've got everything that I can. But it was more so I've been focusing on myself. I've been when I heard that I was going pro, I've just been training like fucking, just really, really motivated. Obviously, because you know now, if you get that call anywhere, you want now's the time to you have to fucking step it up. Um, but as far as studying, Andrea, I've got what I can. Like, uh, I will see what happens. I'll be ready next Saturday, you know.
And do you think that's a better approach? Obviously, you need to know like what fighters do constantly and what they do well, maybe, and what they do bad. But do you think there's too much of an emphasis sometimes on the opponent rather than the fighter themselves, especially at amateur level? Do you think fighters should work on themselves more so than worry about an opponent during those early days of amateur?
Well, I don't know. That's why I always tried to fight the best amateurs. I don't think anyone could take that away from me. And the way I seen it as if I fight, say, I don't know, like when I fought Teddy Stringer, obviously he was going to try and take me down. So I had to really, really prepare for a wrestler. And then when I fought Rory Lavery, say, I had to prepare for a southpaw striker. So I always just seen as trying to find the hardest fights, and then and if I can beat that style, then eventually it'll all come together. You know what I mean? Like, if you do take a fight at a time, obviously you focus on yourself, but getting these fights and trying to break down these different types of styles every single time, that's only going to improve you. And sure, you don't want to lose in this. You're never going to be as motivated to beat that type of style. So if I was to give any advice to any amateur fighters, I don't know. Obviously, I've only finished amateur. Who am I to say to anyone? But it would probably be that. Just try and fight as much different styles and the best fighters you can. Because fuck me, if you can't get up for fighting somebody there, when are you going to get up for it? Or training for somebody there? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I get that. You put yourself in every position possible, put yourself in every bad position possible, knowing that when you go pro, well, I've done this before, I've been here before. I won't say the fighter's name, but he struggled against wrestlers. So every time he took a fight, he took it against a wrestler because he said, I can outstrike the striker, but I can't out wrestle the wrestler, or he couldn't put that puzzle together. So he just kept fighting wrestlers until he got it right. So
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Put yourself every single day in the gym. I do like maybe it sounds arrogant, but I will try and put myself in the most uncomfortable situations as can. Like I'll get the rounds with Paul, I'll get the rounds with Pat and Matt, like all these. I was doing cage rounds last night with Reese. Like I'll make sure I get that round. If you know what I mean. Like if the US, like, put yourself in as much uncomfortable situations as you can. You have to, like, and if you can do it in the cage, that's even better. If you can make that choice yourself.
yeah, no, 100%. And what's it like being around the likes of Paul Hughes, who arguably should be in the UFC, in my opinion? You've got Reese who's there. You've got Paddy who's in cage. Like, what's it like being in the gym at the moment? It just seems to be buzzing because everybody's Jared's after going to Brave. You just have so many big names coming up through there. What's it like all being together? Because it seems to be growing, the family does in FAI.
Absolutely. The gym, like, nothing's changed ever since I've came to Fight Academy. The energy's been absolutely mental. Like I remember the first day I came and they were all like, I don't know, maybe it's like that Belfast thing where they're from, but they all started like shouting in the gym after the session, like this big noise. I was like, these cunts are fucking nuts. I was thinking, but it was deadly. And the fact that like the gym is absolutely flying too. Well, Reese in the UFC, Paul Boundary, definitely UFC level. I think everybody knows that. Hopefully, very close gets in with the UFC. and then Jared just signed to Brave. The gym is absolutely flying. So the energy, I would say the energy's good, but it's literally always there's never really a low in Fight Academy, to be honest. It's
It's
always
just always go, go, go.
always go. They all have so much energy. They all have so much energy. So it's always go.
And then I want to talk about Pat and Shando. Like, how much do they put into? They seem to put so much energy, not into just the pro fighters or the top level amateurs. They seem to put so much into everybody. Like Pat, I see when Pat on his story, if when he goes home, he's studying tape. When he's there, he's doing everything. What's it like having those two as coaches at the minute? And obviously you've got Adam there as well, amongst others.
Adam, I've been doing a lot with Adam this camp. He is maybe I don't know. Pat and Liam, unbelievable, but Adam is a massive, massive part of our fight team. The difference he's made to my game for this fight camp has been crazy. Just one of those guys, a crazy mind for the sport in all aspects. And then Pat and Liam, I think everyone knows how good Pat and Liam are. Like it's no coincidence. Basically, you could call it maybe the win streak that we're on at the top level. Like it has to come from somewhere. The attention, like obviously Liam is more so the striking coach, Pat's more so probably the grappling coach. But the attention detail from both of them, like we have an old group chat and sending videos of like just fights. Like look what he's doing here. Look, like so you can tell they're even always studying. They're still always studying the game, and this is every day. So they're always yeah. The time they put into this is absolutely unreal, and time they put into the sport. And it's tough because the amount of fighters we have at the minute is mental. Like,
Yeah, I went up there one Sunday and I was like on a Sunday morning, I went to do an interview. I think it was with Liam and Paddy and the guys from the medics. And I was just like, there's actually this many people. Like the place was full on a Sunday morning. I was like, fuck me. But like that one thing, I think it was Damien McGuigan told me that, or was it maybe Garrett or Sean McCormick? It might have been all of them. That you go back every once in a while, you go back over the basics as well to make sure that everybody, like, you know, when you go on from a set, you know, you start somewhere, you go on, but someone
oh,
says,
why?
Pat will revisit things, like just the basic things to make sure that you're doing them 100%.
Oh, we have a like I actually just seen the day. Pat's starting like so it's a pop up group on a Sunday morning before sparring, which I went to before the Stanka fight, but then it kind of stopped. But it was a triangle defense, armbar defense, beginner stuff. But like it's always good to go over that stuff. I like he doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be like a world class. The basics will get you far. Like and I Pat and Liam have them nailed.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a very good place trained. It sounds like the place is like the atmosphere at the moment is very good. Hopefully, like I said, Paul will get signed. I think Paul knows. I think he put up the other day. He knows his worth. So maybe Paul's holding out. But you're not looking past your opponent coming up. But do you have any plans for your activity for the year? Or are you just going to take this fight, see how this goes, and then make a decision?
There's been talks. There's been talks of other stuff after. Um, I don't know. Like this, I haven't even got a weight cut here. Like I'm sitting here. I think like I actually felt quite drained yesterday because it was like the training was very hard, really hard week. But like I'm eating comfortable. Like I don't even see this as like it's been a grueling fight camp. But I'll be fresh. I'll be fresh to go again. Like if something pops up, I don't know, something that excites me or something that suits. Like there's no point being stupid at the start of your pro career. I'm not gonna go and like say a short notice like top five fighting cage. It's not going to happen. But top five fighting cage wars comes up against. I guess that's just stupid fight to take. I'll take this year slow, progress in the gym, and see what offers there is. But it'll all go through Pat and Liam. I'll not be making any final calls anyway. So yeah, but I would love to get moving about. Like there's no need to stick about regional shows. I would love to move about fucking Europe or anywhere like.
Yeah, because like you seen, Jared, I think went to, I think was it Austria before or Holland as well. He fought over there, from your gym. There's so many promotions around, between the UK and all. In Europe, it's kind of exploded at the minute. And you're right. There's a different, like I think once you get to pro as well, you need to mind your career. once you have like once it's even fights, kind of the same level of talent and same level of experience, that's fine. I think, you know, some people, like you said, rush into fights, take bigger fights than should, and then maybe get knocked back. But it sounds like obviously you've got a mature head on your shoulder, and then obviously with the boys behind you, you know exactly what you want to do with your career going forward.
Don't get me wrong. I have one goal. I have absolutely one goal. It's the UFC. I will not take any stupid fights. Like I don't know. Like I'll not even give an examples because I don't want to be bad in any promotions. But every single move I take as a pro will lead to my first fight in the UFC, and that'll never change. The moment that changes, fucking, I don't know. Tell me to give it up because my head's went. But that's been the goal from the start, and that will never ever change until I'll admit to myself. I'll be sitting in the bars someday, and I'll admit to myself I'm not good enough. I may as well go and get paid for this shit. I may as well take a few slaps and make some money. But every single career move I make will be. I'm going to put real thought in it. I'm not going to make no rash decisions, and it'll all hopefully what I expect lead to the UFC debut. However long that is, it is. But I'll be doing nothing stupid.
Yeah, like I said, you're only 22, was it? You said you've got years and years ahead of you.
Yeah.
And like I said, you've obviously seen your brothers in the UFC, so you've seen what that entails. When you've got, because you obviously go with him to the fights and show, what's it like being in that atmosphere? Are you in the back with him as well? What's it like the setup for the UFC, or have you been in that far?
In the UFC background,
Yeah, in the you know when he's no.
didn't make it. No, he didn't get the invite for that one. Yeah, for Paris, it was only his team. I wouldn't have wanted to be there because I'm not part of Carbon now, so
Yeah.
I wouldn't be. He's done his training camp with them, so I wouldn't even want to be there. But as far as the UFC event and the energy and just everything, like literally just everything, like their media stuff and it's just like it's a whole different level, the UFC. So, but when the day comes, I think I'll be ready first. Like it's, I would say when you're back there, like I remember Keelan saying that he was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this, but he was like, he was walking out for his UFC debut, and he was like, well, this is it. Like it just feels like any other fight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but yeah, I think what they provide for the fighters backstage with the food and the different, like you said, the media, I think is supposed to be on another level. Is what I've.
I And even for like the weight cut and stuff, I think they like fuel your weight cut for after and give you a wee bit, not maybe not advice, but they'll they're very. I know they're very very good to you. Some of the stuff he's been getting, so no, that's the goal now.
Yeah,
Not
no,
be too long.
not too long. And like I said, I look forward to taking each step with you and watching each step as you try to progress toward your goal to UFC. And like, if you keep going the way you're going, I don't see why it isn't possible. I think you're a fantastic fighter, a fantastic person, and I can't wait to see you fight next weekend. Is there anything you want to say or anyone you want to shout out before you go? And thank you again for your time.
No, just a big thanks to the sponsors. My sponsors this camp have been unbelievable. Ben Burr Construction, as always, them boys over in San Francisco. Corgan Competitions, they sponsor yourself. They've been class. We're giving me real help this camp, and yeah, loads TMC Construction, all them boys, and then I shout out to the Fight Academy team, all the boys as always. But no, thank you for that, Dave. That was good.
Perfect, perfect. Best of skill next weekend, and I will see you at the show.
Yes, let's go get this.